Hey guys, hope you're all well. It's 20 to 4 in the morning for me. So it's a crazy time for me to be doing a live. But guess what? I woke up at 3 and I decided to go live. I was going to do this live in the morning, like the proper morning, my time. But I'm here now. And I don't know how many people have been following this case, but it's absolutely crazy. This is a crazy case. And over the last few hours, there's been some new evidence found. There's been some real developments. And it looks like Brian Walsh, who's the man on the left of your screen there, has got a lot of explaining to do. But I'm going to back up and I'm going to kind of tell the story, because I guess there's going to be people watching this who don't know anything about this case. So I'm going to kind of start at the beginning and work forward. I'm going to play the court hearing, which happened about 12 hours ago now, that some of you may have seen, but a lot of you won't. And we're going to talk about the new evidence that's been found. So let's give it a minute to let people come in. Let's see who's in the house. Crystallized Ice is here, trying to stay awake. It's not a bad time, this, is it? It's a good time for a lot of people. It's a good time for those in down under and on the west coast of America. It's a good time. But maybe for everybody else, it isn't so good. Le Petit Ossu. Sorry. My French isn't great. Here in your jammies and your slippers. Good stuff. True crime Snoopy. Don't think I've seen you in a chat before, but you're finally catching a live. That's good. Teen. Waiting a phone call from Australia. Stupid Vegan. Hello. JD. 1140 where you are. Okay. Vanita, Angel, Pink Volo, really needed this. Good. Alicia, Only Grands, Luna. Also, we've got Grandmother Chrome, Tooney, Joyce, Maureen, Samantha, Calico Chick, Marcelina, Adrian, Me's Mom, and Shazza. Lots of people coming in now. Deirdre, Erna, Krista. Good stuff. Angela. All right. I'm going to stop there because I think people get annoyed with this kind of roll call type thing. But it's nice just to see who's in the house at the beginning of a live. It gives people a chance to come in. But yeah, so the man on the left of your screen there is Brian Walsh, 47, and he's married to 37-year-old Ana Walshe. They've got 3 children, aged 2, 4, and 6. So very small children. Anna is an executive for a real estate company. So she's doing rather well. And by all accounts, they live a very comfortable life. But not everything is as it seems, because, you know, as is often the case, things go on behind closed doors that don't end up good. And this appears to be the case in the Walsh household, because Ana Walshe has been missing, allegedly, since New Year's Day. Brian Walsh says he last saw his wife when she headed out to the airport. She was going to DC. This is happening in Quincy County, Massachusetts, but she works in DC sometimes. So she was going to go and catch a plane to DC. This is what Brian has told cops. Unfortunately, Brian's been lying. Yes, another Brian. I know. another Brian, and it looks like, allegedly, he's going to win an award for one of the world's dumbest criminals by the looks of things, the way that this thing is going, and it's really not looking good. So I've been following this case kind of on Twitter, but like I said, in the last few hours, things have really started to develop, and some really disturbing details have come out. So, like I said, I'm going to play you the court hearing in a minute. Brian was arrested for misleading a police investigation. So they've got him in custody. And they've got him in custody on a $500,000 bond just for lying to cops. So they strongly believe that something really bad has happened to Ana Walshe. So let's read what CNN have said here. So investigators looking into the disappearance of a Massachusetts woman found a bloody knife in the basement. So this has all come out in court. And I am going to play the hearing. It's only a short hearing. It's only 10 minutes. So they found a bloody knife which was broken in the basement and signs of blood. And there's more. There's more. Now, like I said, yeah, another criminal mastermind. Yeah, blacklisted. It looks exactly like that. Anyway, so like I said, when police asked him, when police questioned him, he said he last saw his wife in the very early hours, like 6 a.m. on New Year's Day, which was a blatant lie. And he hadn't reported her missing. It was actually her colleagues, her workplace, that had reported her missing on January the 4th when she didn't show up for work. And there has been a search going on over the last few days, like around the town of their home. But yeah, cops clearly did not believe him. And when cops checked their internet history, he'd been searching, right? This guy, criminal mastermind, has been searching the internet. And the search queries were things like how to dispose of a 115-pound woman, how to dismember a body. You know, like, do you really make internet searches like that? Unless you really, really need to make an internet search like that. I mean, how to dismember a body. That's absolutely nuts. So, over the last few hours, thank you, Miss Enigma, for $7.99 Australian dollars. That's very kind of you. Very kind of you. Shazza, yeah, he is proper dodgy. Grandmother Crony's a real bright fella. Yeah, I mean, it's laughable if it wasn't so tragic because, you know, not only are things not looking good for Anna, there's 3 little kids here. I think they're all boys, aged 2, 4, and 6, who are missing their mother. And now their dad's in jail. They're in state custody. So it's absolutely tragic. Now, over the last few hours, this has been developing. I had a sleep and then I woke up at 3 o'clock. So the last thing I remember when I went to sleep was that searches were taking place. So if I just switch screens here and show you what's been happening on Twitter. So JB from WFLA posted 22 minutes ago that police have found evidence in a trash, like they're looking through trash. I mean, another case where they're searching trash. Now, we don't know what they found. This is just breaking news. They found evidence connected to Anna's disappearance at a trash station in Peabody. Unclear what that evidence is. And then Josh Benson, also from WFLA. Sources claim evidence has been found in a trash facility. So I don't know what he's been discarding, but something is there in the trash, the searching mounds of trash. So that's what's going on at the moment as we speak. So nuts, absolute nuts. Now there's more, because Brian Walsh was actually on home confinement. He's on probation. Now, it's a little bit strange that the story about this is a little bit strange. That he's on home confinement because he was found guilty last year of fraud. So in May 2018, he was charged with wire fraud after the FBI said he sold 2 fake Warhol paintings on eBay. So he's a dodgy character. This guy is a dodgy character. And it's alleged that either Brian or Anna used her eBay account to sell these dodgy fake paintings. And they were married, I think, in 2015. So this was kind of early on in their marriage. But Anna was never charged. Brian was. So documents allege that he took real artwork from a friend to sell, but never did. And then he didn't compensate a friend for the art. So it's basically swindling. He was indicted in October 2018 on 4 charges in this case. So wire fraud, interstate transportation with a scheme to defraud, possession of converted goods, unlawful transactions. And he's been on home confinement. Now, he's not been sentenced yet. So I think they've been continuing this investigation. And he's been on home confinement. So it's a very kind way to punish him, I guess, because he is allowed to leave the house, but only to certain places. So, for example, he's allowed to take his kids to and from school. He's allowed to go and visit family members. But what's happened as part of this investigation into the disappearance of Anna, it's been found that he's been making trips that he shouldn't be allowed, that he's not allowed to make. But he's been lying about it. So, again, one of the world's dumbest criminals, because doesn't he think that the police aren't going to be able to trace him? And he told police that on January 1st, he went to Whole Foods and CVS, which is a 40-mile drive from his home, to take his kids out. Oh, no. The day after he took his kids out. But, the police started to really worry when his story fell apart, because he said that Anna had got an Uber or a Lyft ride on New Year's Day, early, like 6 a.m. or something, to the airport. And they found that there was no Uber at all. And there was no flight to DC. Actually, there was a flight. She was going to DC, but not at the time that he said. And the tickets that she bought to make this flight to DC have never been used. Damningly, her cell phone pinged both on January the 1st and January the 2nd in their home, even though he said that she'd left very early on January the 1st to go to the airport. Her phone is still at home. Now, you could say, well, maybe she had 2 phones and she took her other one. Or you could say, maybe she forgot her phone. But no, there was no Uber and there was no flight, certainly at the time that he said she was going. So then cops reviewed surveillance video. And he wasn't at Whole Foods and CVS, places where he's allowed to go. He's allowed to go, like, to get food, take his kids out, take his kids to school, visit family, etc. But what he did, instead of going to those places, he went to Home Depot and bought $450 worth of cleaning supplies. $450. Who buys $450 of cleaning supplies? Who buys that amount of cleaning supplies? You know, the average the average, you know, cleaning supplies are cheap, aren't they? Like mops, buckets, bleach. It's all cheap, isn't it? Certainly is in my country. You know, you just, if he was going to do, you know, new year, new start, let's say, and he made the argument that he was going to clean his entire house, and they do live in a nice big house, surely you still wouldn't spend $450. Because in addition to cleaning supplies, he bought tarps. He also bought various kinds of tape. Really alarming things. And as I said, once police obtained a search warrant for the home, they found blood in the basement. So this $450 of cleaning supplies, he hadn't even cleaned the scene up properly because they found blood in the basement. And they found a damaged bloody knife in the basement. So he'd not bothered to get rid of that. You know, and he's been telling police that she's been missing since January 1st. And she hasn't been, you know, she's not been seen since January the 1st. And the chances are, if she has been murdered, she's probably been murdered before January the 1st. And she was only reported missing on the 4th. So he's had however many days to get rid of all of this evidence. And like I said, you know, the latest is that evidence has been found at a trash dump. You know, there's dogs out there searching. They've been searching various locations, actually. And evidence apparently has now been found. So he's got rid of some things, whatever they might be. But he didn't bother getting rid of a bloody knife. Just absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. Let's see what else is going on now. So that's a cadaver dog, somebody says. Why else would they have a dog there? A good indication that Anna was murdered. And that's probably true. That dog is not going to be a live scent tracking dog, is it? At a trash site. Where is Anna, Shelley? Yeah, absolutely. Where is she? Where is she? Trash trailers have been impounded in connection with her disappearance. It's just so sad. So sad. So this dog here is likely a cadaver dog. So whatever evidence they've found, I don't know whether the dog's alerted on something or whether the investigators there looking through trash piles have found something. But something's definitely going down here, right as we speak. You know, I thought I'd seen enough trash searching in the disappearance of little Quinton Simon. But thankfully, the amount of trash I think that they're looking through isn't nearly the same level as happened in little Quinton's case. So I think it's been a much easier search because they've only been there for the last few hours doing that. Yeah, so he's been set bail for $500,000, and his next hearing is on February the 9th. So I'm going to play you the hearing now. It's only like 10 minutes all the way through, but the prosecutor gives a really good summary of the case to date. Now, that happened Monday. So it's Tuesday for me now, but it'll still be Monday for some of you guys. So let's play the hearing. The volume isn't great on this, as is usually the case with these things, but I have got the closed captions on, and I'm sharing this from Fox 5, Washington, DC. I'll put a link to this in the chat, and I'll also put it in the description box after, because I just forgot before I went live. So that's where I'm sharing it from, just for fair use. So we're going to go through this. I'm going to let most of it play. I might stop it maybe a couple of times. But yeah, it gives a good summary of what's gone on. And obviously the search and the evidence that's been found in the trash dump, that's not mentioned in this because that hadn't happened yet. Because like I said, I'm going backwards to come forwards. So let's play this. I'll mute out so that the volume will be as good as possible. I can turn it up my end and see how that goes. So let me mute out now and we'll play this.
Mr. Brian Walsh, complaint 230136 out of Cohasset, you're charged with intimidation of a witness on the 8th of January 2023, and not guilty plea will be entered.
Do you understand that charge, Mr. Walsh? Yes. I'll hear from the Commonwealth.
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. Lynn Beeland for the Commonwealth. Your Honor, the charge before the court right now, the defendant is charged under the intimidation, that being misleading the police in the course of an investigation. The investigation is into the missing person of Ana Walshe. Ana is the wife of this defendant. She's 37 years old. They have 3 children, 2, 4, and 6. Ana Walshe was last seen on New Year's Day about between 4 and 6 a.m. in the morning. The defendant indicated that she left the house to go, she works in Washington, D.C. The defendant indicated in the subsequent interview that she left the house around 6 a.m., taking an Uber or Lyft to go to the airport, where she was going to go to work in D.C. That was the last time she was seen. In the course of the investigation, police were notified around January 4th by her employees in Washington, D.C., that she had not shown up for work on January 4th. That was the first time that she was notified that she was missing. Up until this point, the defendant had not notified anyone that she was missing. In the investigation, was determined that she actually had a plane ticket for January 3rd, which she did not use, and did not show up at the airport, nor her DC job or her apartment in DC. It was indicated that the defendant, police checked during the course of this investigation. There was not a Uber or any kind of Lyft that had picked her up on January 1st. In fact, in the course of the investigation, it was determined that her cell phone pinged in the area of the house, which is located on Chief Justice Cushing Way, that her phone pinged on the 1st and the 2nd, which is after the defendant had said she had left. Additionally, the defendant right now was on house arrest, pending sentencing in federal court. Part of that probation and condition, he was to report his whereabouts if he was to leave the house. He indicated as part of the investigation, when police spoke with him, that on January 1st, he went to his mother's house. However, it took him a lot longer because he got lost going to his mother's house in Swampscott.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that little detail. That he got lost, allegedly, going to his mother's house. How can you get lost going to your mother's house? Now, I guess that maybe his mother, let's be fair, maybe his mother had recently moved. But this is what he told police, that, he's allowed to go to visit family. So he was going to his mother's house and he got lost. That's why he was way off track. And thank you, Coco, for the $1.99. That's very kind of you. Prosecution is on it. They are on it. Yeah. But I think, actually, he's made it easy for the cops because he's just been so dumb. He's just been so dumb. I mean, I can't get over how dumb these people are. Now, somebody asked about an ankle monitor. I do believe he had an ankle monitor on, yeah. So again, how crazy. Who gets lost? Exactly. Who gets lost? Going to the mother's house. So, yeah, she might have recently moved. That's absolutely true. Might have recently moved. So I wonder whether, this January the 1st thing, it's only him that says he saw on January the 1st. Now, if a murder had taken place, I think it's happened in the days previous. Now, I actually think she was alive the day before. So something has happened maybe over that night. I'm not sure. I'm just speculating on that one. But somebody asked about life insurance, and that's exactly what I thought. That was my first go-to when all of this started to unfold, was, he's been done for fraud. He's a swindler. He's obviously got no morals whatsoever. And, has the marriage been bad? And has he decided to off his wife for the life insurance? If he has, then he's been even more dumb, because it was a really rubbish plot to leave blood in the basement and a bloody knife. He could have set it up better if that was his plan. So then I thought, well, actually, perhaps it was just a fight that went wrong, and it wasn't a pre-planned, premeditated thing. It was just a fight that ended really, really badly. So that's where my thoughts are. But there's so much evidence stacking up against him. Things are not looking good for him. So let's carry on and listen to the prosecutor here.
He also subsequently indicated and stated to the police that he went to Whole Foods and CVS. Police subsequently did surveillance and checked. There was no surveillance or indication that he went to Whole Foods nor CVS. He indicated he purchased some items. There's no receipts for him having purchased that. He then returned home. Surveillance was checked by several police during this time frame. These statements caused a lot of delay as part of the investigation, as police now were focusing on the North Shore. He further indicated that on January 2nd, as he was supposed to report in, that the only time he left is that he went to take his son for some ice cream. Surveillance checked during the investigation indicated that the defendant, in fact, on January 2nd, sometime after 4 o'clock, went to the Home Depot, which is in Auckland. He's on surveillance at that time, purchasing about $450 worth of cleaning supplies. That would include mops, bucket, tarps, T-Vex, drop cloths, as well as various kinds of tape. He's on surveillance at that time on January 2nd, even though he said he never left the house. Police obtained a search warrant and actually searched the house with crime scene services. During that time, they found blood in the basement. Blood was found in the basement area, as well as a knife, which also contained some blood.
Could you repeat that last time, Mr.?
Yes, in the basement, crime scene services recovered and found blood in the basement area, in a section of the basement. There was also a knife that was found. On the knife, there was also blood, and part of the knife was damaged. Your Honor, these various statements caused a delay in the investigation, to the point that during the time frame when he didn't report his wife and gave various statements, that allowed him time to either clean up evidence, dispose of evidence, in causing a delay. As of this time, Ana Walshe has not been found. So because of that, the Commonwealth is asking $500,000 cash bail. At this time, these are the charges.
Good morning, Your Honor. Mr. Walsh's wife has been missing since January 1st, and it is true that her employer contacted the police on January 4th. However, that was as a result of Mr. Walshe, Brian Walshe, contacting the employer to say, I haven't heard from my wife. The employer suggested that their security team, who was former law enforcement officer, contact both the Cohasset Police and the DC Metro Police, which he did.
Okay, so the defense here, you know, this evidence that they've got about him not reporting her missing. So the prosecutor says to give him, you know, a chance to clean up, which he didn't do very well. Everything else is circumstantial. You know, yes, he lied because he wasn't in the places he said he was, but that's circumstantial. He might have just lied because he didn't want cops, you know, he made mistakes and he didn't want cops to know that he'd made mistakes, so he lied. Lots of lies, lots of silly lies. You know, if he wanted to go and buy cleaning supplies, then why did he not just tell them that that's what he was doing? Why lie? And then this not reporting her missing, like the defense says, well, he actually kind of did, because he thought she'd gone to work. He thought she was in DC, not heard from her, and then called her work. So it was him that initiated the call in a roundabout way. So it's gonna come down to whose blood was that? We haven't heard, we haven't been told whose blood was in the basement, whose blood was on the knife. Right, because blood in the basement, you could say, well, maybe somebody had an accident there, you know, and the blood got there for whatever reason. Someone fell over, cut their head or something, cut their arm. But blood on a knife, that is very, very damning. But now there's evidence stacking up from this trash search. Things really are not looking good at all. So yeah, somebody said drunk on New Year's Eve. Maybe he looks smug. Well, I'll show you, actually. If I just get out of this for a second, I'll show you exactly what his face was like when he was arrested. I've got it on my Twitter here. So that's what they were doing earlier today, kind of searching some areas. But this is what he was doing when he was arrested. Let me just find it. Here, look at him. That was what he was like when he was arrested. Charged with misleading an investigation. And he came out with this big beaming smile on his face. Look at him. Look at that. What I mean, that is the ultimate in smugness. Look at him. It's like he's got the kind of face that you just want to slap. It is sickening. It is. you know, thinking that he's going to get away with this. And he's not been charged with murder. He hasn't been charged with murder. I think they're just waiting to find the relevant evidence. So, yeah. All right. We'll go back to this hearing and listen to the rest of this. And then we'll see what the latest is coming out. Because I'm not sure that they'll release what evidence they've found, unless they've found a body, or, God forbid, parts of a body, because he did that internet search, you know, how to dismember a body. So, you know, had he dismembered a body in the basement and then put the parts in the trash? You know, it's unbearable to think about, but is that what he did? Is that what he did? All right, let's play the rest of this now. I'll let it play through now.
Mr. Walsh has given several interviews. We have consented to searches of his home. We have consented to searches of his property. We have consented to searches of his cell phone. I negotiated with Assistant District Attorney, to promote you, Lynn Beeland, on the terms of that to protect attorney-client. He has been incredibly cooperative. The charges are not anything relating, he's not charged with murder. He's charged with misleading investigators by not saying, as I understand it, he went to Home Depot in Rockland. He did say he went to Press in Norwell, and as Your Honor knows, Rockland, Home Depot was right next to Norwell. If in fact he was there, it was next in the town next to him. With respect to the other alleged omission, is that he was in Brockton and Abington. They don't have him stopping anywhere in those areas, as far as the police report says. He did say that he took his son out twice on the 2nd. He is on home confinement. He has a bracelet on him. A violation has been noticed of him. So if he leaves here, there's a federal detainer. He will be taken to federal court, and I would suggest that on the bail violations in federal court, the appropriate place to decide those conditions of release is in the federal court. I would ask for low bail or no bail, and to let the federal courts decide this. He's not going anywhere. He hasn't gone anywhere since January 1st. He's been in the house. That's true. He's been in the house with police almost 12 hours a day. I've been at the house with him, with police, for at least 8 hours a day. Well, not yesterday, but yesterday the police were at his house and he was at my home. But Friday and Saturday I was at his house for at least 8 hours with police officers present. So it's not that he's been there changing evidence or somehow impeding the investigation. The charges are he neglected to mention that he went to Abington and Brockton, and then he neglected to mention that he was at a Home Depot. I suggest on those charges, a regular person, as everybody has to be treated, that would be a no bail situation. With respect to violation of conditions of his federal bail, that is most appropriately dealt with in the federal court. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Bail is set at $500,000 cash, $5 million surety. Can we get a 30-day date, Ms. Minor, please?
What date would you like?
You tell me any date. He would be. We would do this by teleconference from the House of Correction. Richie, I want you to keep the.
Yeah, if I can
I
just
have a
look.
copy of the warrant, so keep that in the file, please.
Thank you.
The bail is set at $500,000 cash. You have a right to appeal that bail to Superior Court. If you make this bail and get arrested or charged with any more offense while this case is pending, you could be held up to 90 days without bail. We're going to pick a conference date within 30 days.
Is Thursday, February 9th available?
Thursday, February 9th is perfect.
Thank you.
February 9th.
Video minute, please.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's the hearing. That's the hearing. Thank you, Wood Chipper. And you also made another donation just a little bit before, which I put on screen. So thank you so much for those donations. That's very kind of you. So happy for stupid criminals. I know. They make the police, makes their job look easy, doesn't it? Yeah, what's going on with these Bryans at the moment? You know, the Brian Koberger situation. We got this guy, Brian Laundrie. You know, it's crazy. Crazy. If your name's Brian, I'm going to be very suspicious of you in future. But dear me. Let's have a quick look at the probable cause affidavit. There's not much in it. I don't think there's anything in it that we don't really know. So there's his bail. Like, can you see that? Hold on a minute. I don't know whether you can see that. Share this tab instead. Oh, okay. There we go. Got it now. So $500,000. But if he makes that, he's not going anywhere because he's on federal charges anyway. You know, he's breached his bail conditions of these federal charges for the fraud. So bail hearing, his next appearance is February the 9th. And then this is the criminal complaint. Here it is. So there's not much in this, to be honest. So sets forth facts and suggests reasonable inferences from those facts to establish probable cause that between January 5th and 7th, Walsh did mislead, intimidate, or harass another person who was a witness or potential witness at some stage of the criminal investigation, blah, 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 blah. So the basic facts, I think we've already gone through. And obviously more facts have come out since this was written anyway. So January the 4th, as we've said, that's when the police were alerted. He lied. He relayed that he had a New Year's Eve dinner with a friend, which he and Anna hosted at their home. This friend, Jem, I think it says, arrived around 8:30 and left around 1 or 1:30. Said that he and Anna went to bed shortly after this person left. And then apparently she had this work emergency and she had to fly to DC in the morning. So she got ready, kissed him goodbye, told him to go back to sleep. And then she got this Uber or this Lyft. And that is not true. There was no Uber. So he was lying. So he just went about his business with his sons, got up, made breakfast in the afternoon, babysitter arrived, he ran errands, got lost going to his mother's, did not have his cell phone, so did not use his GPS. So he got way off track. So instead, he got lost, took another route, and he eventually got there, stayed for 15 minutes. So that looks like he was trying to get an alibi, in my opinion. He left to run more errands to Whole Foods and CVS, but then went back to his mother's. And then he said, oh dear, one of my sons must have taken and lost my phone during New Year's Eve because I didn't have my phone with me. I don't know where my phone was. Yeah, so this bunch of lies, like all of these things have been shown to be untrue. So on Sunday, January 1st, Walsh had requested travel between 3 and 9 p.m. to drop his mother off because she'd had recent cataract surgery and she was staying at their home, which wasn't true. It's just lie upon lie. He said he had time scheduled so he could bring her home after her recovery. But then during this interview, he then stated his mother had recovered from surgery quicker than expected and had driven herself home. Guys, right? I know several people who've had cataract surgery and they don't recover that quick that they can just get in the car and drive themselves home. So she'd driven herself home, and then that meant he needed to go and visit her, but yet he got lost going visiting her. Crazy bunch of lies. So the data from Walsh's cell phone, which miraculously must have turned up, showed that the device travelled to the areas of Brockton and Abington during the week beginning January 1st. And he'd been to towns where he wasn't allowed to go. So it just lies. All lies. So that's why he was arrested. So they're just holding him. They're holding him until they can find evidence of a murder. That's that's my opinion anyway. Absolutely a goon. Exactly. You don't recover just like that from cataract surgery. Now, to be fair, because I'm always fair, we don't know when she'd had this cataract surgery, you know. But yeah, I mean, I haven't tracked out actually, like where they live and then where the mother lives, just in like a neighbouring town. I haven't tracked it out because it was a blatant lie anyway. He didn't get lost. It's just a blatant lie. And she had posted, Anna did post on Instagram, I think, on New Year's Eve. So she was alive on New Year's Eve, like the day of New Year's Eve. And then presumably this friend can confirm that they did have dinner and they did, you know, spend the evening. So whatever happened after maybe, you know, in the early hours of the morning on January the 1st, I would imagine. So thankfully, whatever happened, hopefully at least, happened not in earshot or eyeshot of their sons. Hopefully they slept through whatever horror allegedly happened in that house. No, the mother, Brian's mother, not Anna, Brian's mother had cataract surgery. So he's 47, so his mother's going to be in her 60s or 70s, isn't she? So, yeah, it was the mother. He claimed his mother was staying with them because she'd had cataract surgery, but she recovered that quickly. She was able to drive herself home. And that's why he was going visiting her. That's the story he told, but presumably she did have cataract surgery. Presumably they can prove she had cataract surgery. But this thing about him staying with him and then going to visit her was nonsense. It was, I believe, that visit was just to get an alibi. And then him lying about his cell phone, that one of his sons took his cell phone, was a lie. So, anyway, thank you, Dana, for the $4. That's very kind of you. Let me look on my screen here. Because super stickers don't show up as, you know, the little moving things don't. Oh, thank you. And Cecile, thank you so much for the $4.99. she wanted a divorce. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. The marriage clearly mustn't have been a happy one. Am I back? Am I back? Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. My internet is dodgy at the best of times. I think I went down there for a minute or two. I had to reload StreamYard. So I am back now, yeah. Yay, I'm back. I'm back. I just had to reload StreamYard. Went down a little bit. So I'll call it a day in a minute, because literally we're now waiting for information as to what they might have found in the trash. So we might not find that out for a minute, like a while. We need to know whose blood that was. We need to know. I'll turn my other computer off, and that will help the internet, I think. We need to know whose blood it was, and we need to know what was found in the trash. Well, she was the breadwinner. She was an executive at a real estate company. They live in a very, very nice neighborhood, very nice home, very wealthy by the looks of things. But he's on probation and he's on home confinement. So presumably he's looking after the children. I don't know whether he works at all, like whether he works from home. I don't know the answer to that. But when he's, while he's at home, presumably he is the, the housekeeper and the childminder, and she's the breadwinner. And yeah, absolutely, Jean, it's a large real estate company. So if the motive here is financial, and let's say, for example, just hypothesizing here, that she wanted to leave and get a divorce, then he would literally be up shit creek with no paddles whatsoever, because she's the breadwinner. But it could be something else. You know, a fight could have broken out over something else. I'm not sure that this is a premeditated plan to get rid of her kind of situation, because surely he would have done it better. It looks to me like something's happened. She's been murdered. And again, this is just speculation. A fight's broken out. He's stabbed her, let's say, for example, in a rage. And then he's panicked and he's had to clean up, make all of these ridiculous journeys, lie about going to Home Depot and buying $450 worth of cleaning supplies. It all seems to me very panicked. So surely if he'd premeditated it, let's say for life insurance or something like that, he would have done it better. He would have made up a scenario that was more convincing. But at the end of the day, he may just be a really bad criminal. You know, he's already been caught frauding people. He's been caught for that. And he's facing a federal sentence for that. So he's going to go down anyway. So for me, it feels like an anger thing rather than premeditated for money, for life insurance, or Stupid Vegan has said just up here, can't find it now. But if there was a divorce, yeah, there we go. Couldn't he end up getting money out of a divorce? Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. The live in Massachusetts. Who's live? Somebody live. Things will really start developing, I think, over the next few hours. Let's have a look what's going on. What a clown. What an absolute clown. I mean, that Google search, how to dispose of a £115 woman, that seems to me not like a premeditation, or else he would have planned how he was going to get rid of the body. Police have found evidence. It's this kind of same thing. We don't know at this moment what has been found at this dump. I hope he hasn't dismembered her and they've got to find body parts. That's horrendous. It was horrific when they were searching for Quinton Simon, you know, after allegedly his mother had put him in the trash and they then found him at the trash. I mean, how many weeks did that go on? Like 5 weeks? But I just hope he hasn't dismembered her and they're now going to spend weeks trying to find body parts. That's just horrific. But they did have a cadaver dog there. I don't know whether I can find the clip now. Be further down here. But there was a cadaver dog. I mean, look at her. Look at her. She's beautiful. What was she doing with a clown like him? What was she doing with a clown like him? Why is he smiling? Yeah. Yeah. His goose is cooked. I couldn't have put it better. Absolutely. I mean, you know, it's laughable, as I said before. If it wasn't so tragic, it's absolutely tragic. You know, a beautiful woman like her with everything to live for, 37 years of age, doing mega well for herself. You know, she's in an executive position, 3 little boys, age 6, 4, and 2, and she's stuck with a clown like him. Jennifer Coffendaffer just tweeted. Let's have a look what's going on. Yeah. I mean, that's what I started with. If you were here from the beginning, I actually started with there's new evidence found, and then I went back and kind of told the story and brought it forward chronologically. So yeah, I started with that, but we don't know what the evidence is, and I suspect we're not going to know that for a little while yet. But yeah, what I showed earlier was the cadaver dog searching rubbish. It looks like they're doing it, you know, like we learned, there it is, like we learned in Quinton Simon's case. If they know what area of a dump to search in, you know, if they've got intelligence, maybe surveillance of him putting things in a trash can somewhere, then they'll know what area of the dump to search. So it looks like that's what they're doing, but the mounds and mounds and mounds of trash that they had to search through in Quinton Simon's case is because they were like a week of trash on top of each other. But they found Quinton, didn't they? Those who followed that case, and just a little boy who's just had his second birthday in heaven. Quinton had his second birthday in heaven. He was 20 months old when he died, when he was murdered, allegedly. But in this case, it doesn't look like the mounds of trash are as high, and it looks like what they've done is got a mound that they're looking at, that they suspect has got evidence in it, and they've spread it out. And in that situation, the cadaver dog, it's safe for that cadaver dog to go in because it's new trash. There won't be like in a dump in a landfill when they're searching through. That's why they were wearing those really kind of protective suits with masks, and not safe for a cadaver dog to go into the mounds because of the gases that come off and the things that might be in that trash. But if they can lay it all out like that, then it's safe for a cadaver dog to go. And I don't know whether it's the cadaver dog that's found some evidence or whether they have, and we've no idea what that evidence might be. I just hope that he hasn't dismembered her, like he, you know, followed a Google recommendation of how to dismember a body, and he's put her in different trash bins. That'd just be awful. So awful for her family, and awful for those little boys, you know, who are eventually going to find out. They're only little babies now, but they're going to find out what happened to their mother. And it really isn't looking good. You know, I really don't expect that Anna is still alive. But so sad. So sad. Oh yeah, everyone's sharing the same picture. So I think what I'm going to do is sign off now, because my internet keeps giving me an alert that it's a bit dodgy. So I don't know whether it's choppy for you guys, but I don't think we're going to hear anything about what evidence they found immediately. I think they're going to keep searching, keep things very close to the vest for now. Famous last words, because I'll get off here and then in 10 minutes time they'll make a big announcement or something. But in my opinion, I think they'll carry on searching for a while. And I'll update in the morning. I'll go back to, it is the morning for me. Actually, it's 4:45 in the morning, but I'll update tomorrow, like later on today, or tomorrow for you if you're on the west coast of America. All right, guys, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you so much for the donations, and thank you to the moderators. I saw Bug Love in here. I don't know whether there was other moderators in. I think there was. I get confused because this is Michelle Walks, and I have different moderators. So Bug Love, I don't even know whether you're a moderator, and I can't tell now because I turned my other computer off. Anyway, I'm waffling. I will go, and I'll see you very soon. Bye, guys.